Hello everyone, welcome to the Coin Report channel. I wasn't planning on making a video on this topic, but then this happened. And I thought it was a rather important situation that I should definitely warn you about. Today we're going to talk about what to do when the second most capitalized USDC stablecoin is underbacked. In addition, I'll tell you about the Circle's little lie, why the collapse actually happened, and whether the coin will be able to recover at all. Everyone who holds USDC should see this. Get comfortable and here we go. Folks, firstly, I want to show you this stablecoin reserves report from Coinbase and Circle. Currently, the USDC is the second largest stablecoin on the market, and it is in significant danger. Its collapse could have way worse consequences than the USD's Depeg from the US dollar. Why? Well, it's very simple. Such a big event will significantly shake all stablecoins' credibility, and since a big capital first moves into them and only then flows into particular cryptocurrencies, it can be difficult for big players to enter the cryptocurrency industry. Of course, for example, as of May 1st, 2022, USD was the third largest stablecoin. And if you remember, even though this event had a negative impact on the entire cryptocurrency market, it still didn't knock it out. So it is a great mistake to think it won't be this bad this time. Here we just don't take into account the fact that the difference in capitalization between it and the USDC is huge. So I would expect a much stronger effect. In addition, the USDC Depeg from the US dollar could cause additional problems and could be the black swan that everyone is so afraid of. Guys, have you ever wondered what we should expect in this situation? Firstly, the DAI coin will die right away since it is secured by the USDC by a very large percentage. And secondly, it will be a very strong blow to the Ethereum blockchain reputation, and accordingly, this trend will start to spread over the whole crypto further. The worst case scenario is that all stablecoins following the USDC will begin to depeg from the US dollar, like in the domino effect. So let's go back to our document. Look at this paragraph right here. The reserves securing the USDC peg are held at banks such as Bank of New York Mellon, Customers Bank, Citizens Trust Bank, and now, most importantly, Silicon Valley Bank and Silvergate Bank. Silvergate Bank recently informed of its inability to continue its business and that it simply will self-destruct. And now, on March 10, it was announced that Silicon Valley Bank had finally collapsed since it couldn't raise funds. Neither the government nor other banks helped it. Why is this important to the USDC? Because even though in their last reserve report they listed the banks that hold their stablecoin collateral, the company didn't disclose how much cash exactly was there. But everyone started spreading rumors that it was $9.8 billion. It turned out that, on Friday, Silicon Valley Bank was closed by regulators, and access to that money and reserves was lost. Against this background, the major stock exchanges began to introduce bans. Therefore, Coinbase temporarily suspends the USDC to USD conversion over the weekend while banks are closed. In turn, Binance is temporarily suspending the automatic USDC to BUSD conversion due to the current market conditions, especially related to the high USDC inflows to the exchange and the growing pressure on the platform associated with supporting this conversion. Folks, next we'll talk about Circle's lies, additional risks, and most importantly, how you should act in this situation. In the meantime, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. A lot of thumbs up definitely will improve my mood. Thank you. We continue. Circle finally broke the silence and said the following. Silicon Valley Bank is one of the Circle's 6 banking partners. But in fact, that's not entirely true. There are not 6 of them. There, we told about 25% of the USDC reserves, while we await clarity on how the transfer of SVB's assets to the FDIC will affect its depositors. Circle continues to operate as usual. Simply put, Circle hopes that the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation will return their money from the closed Silicon Valley Bank. Well, that can happen indeed. But whatever the case, it still caused the USD coin to fall. Right now, the stablecoin is trading at 90 cents. But as you can see here, the price dropped even lower, down to 87 cents. Stablecoins which are partly backed by USDC are also losing their peg to $1. For example, the DAI at the writing time is also trading at 96 cents. Guys, the cryptocurrency market is full of risks and lots of surprises. That's why it's essential to be ready for them. What other stablecoins depend on the USDC? As this stablecoin loses its peg to the US dollar, the following stablecoins are at risk because they heavily rely on the USDC as reserves. Frax is at risk in particular, as is DAI. Folks, it will be no surprise to me if these stablecoins fall even lower against the US dollar. Please take a good look at the naming of all stable assets, study them well, and try to stay away from them as far as possible in the meantime. And now I want to touch on the subject of what I myself think of this situation regarding the second largest stablecoin collapse. Indeed, the risks USDC has are quite significant. But why do most media outlets exaggerate the problem? Was $9.8 billion really stored at Silicon Valley Bank? Once again, that's not entirely true. In fact, the USDC has $11.1 billion in 7 different banks. Once again, in 7 different banks. So what did Circle tell us? Circle said they have 6 bank partners, and I don't know why they lied, yet that's what we have. Anyway, 2 of these banks are Silvergate Bank and Silicon Valley Bank. Bank of New York Mellon probably owns most of the USDC's assets. If, as Circle says, 25% is in Silicon Valley Bank and the SVB collapse is 92% in an aggressive scenario, the USDC collateral will reduce by $182 million, which is easily absorbed by Circle's balance sheet. That is why, as it may seem at first glance, nothing terrible should happen. However, in this case, the only problem is liquidity, or rather, the lack of it. Circle said they held 8% of their reserves at this bank, but if they don't have liquidity, $3.3 billion is a giant hole in their financial statements. Well, I suggest we end with the question: what do you need to do in this situation? There are only 2 options here, but first, you need to determine if you believe the USDC can repeg to the US dollar, or if it will continue its free fall further on. Based on what your opinion is, you should move on to the next steps. The first option is that you believe in the stablecoin recovery. In that case, it's very simple. You don't have to do a thing. But for the second option, it's not so obvious. Since we are in kind of uncertainty when we don't know all the factors, we cannot get into the heads of the managers and respectively, we cannot calculate all the risks. The solution is not to hope for the USDC recovery, but to accept all losses while minimizing all possible future risks. So you have a choice to take a slight loss but save the rest of your money, or run a small risk of losing absolutely all your money. Unless, of course, you have placed your capital in different stablecoins and networks. As for me, I doubt a big issuer like Circle can't handle this situation, or find someone willing to help them if something happens. At the same time, it's pretty naive to rely on someone because in the worst case scenario, it may turn out to be the safest way to keep your money in assets rather than in stablecoins. As always, the decision is yours. And that's it for today. Subscribe to the Coin Report channel. Thanks for watching and see you later.